Hey, how you doing? Thank you for downloading my program. This is Eric from Kettlebell. This is your coaching cues video for the snatch lift. So I've divided the videos, my coaching cue videos, into two different parts, and I think it will make it a little bit easier for you to watch, and then you can go back and forth to either part that you want. So I'm going to divide it. The first one is going to be on the way up, actually going through, getting that kettlebell to the lockout. The second video will be the way down, how to drop the kettlebell from the lockout and to repeat another repetition. The kettlebell snatch is definitely one of the more technical kettlebell lifts, but it's well worth it to invest a little bit of time and to get some of these little techniques honed in so you can get the most out of your kettlebell snatch lift. So here we go. One thing I want to kind of make clear first, when I'm referring to with the kettlebell snatch, I use the clock a lot, where between our legs right here, we're going to count this as 6 o'clock, and the overhead will be 12 o'clock, overhead into the lockout, okay? So you'll hear me talk about where to pull and different things, and that's what I will be referring to. So 6 o'clock between the legs, 12 o'clock up high. Okay, so here we go. The first thing that you need to really dive into with the kettlebell snatch is the backswing. You need to make sure that you're getting a complete backswing. Remember, kettlebells work on a pendulum. So what happens is when the kettlebell goes all the way to the back, the kettlebell will die again. And that is the right time to push those hips forward and to turn that kettlebell back into the kettlebell snatch, or to a kettlebell swing for that fact. It's still the same thing. So you want to make sure you're getting a full backswing on your kettlebell snatch. A lot of people will stop here at 6 o'clock and try to pull. That will make the snatch a little less efficient, and it'll also take a lot more grip strength to do that move like that, and it's going to fatigue it a lot earlier, so you're going to have to put down the kettlebell, prematurely a lot of times before the set is over. So in getting that complete backswing, so make sure that the kettlebell is going completely to the back, stopping, and then you're turning those hips forward. So another thing with the backswing, we're going to turn, and my recommendation is for the snatch to turn your thumb to the back when you're swinging to the back. Okay? So you'll see some people will swing with the thumbs forward on this. I do not recommend that for the snatch. That doesn't mean that it's wrong. I do recommend that for the clean, but that is another video altogether. So remember, that thumb comes to the back. Make sure you get a full backswing to where the kettlebell dies, and then pushing your hips, or pushing your forearm off of your hips, off of your torso, pushing forward. So the backswing. So it's really key. So the next thing on the going up portion of the kettlebell snatch is what's called the acceleration pull. So if we're saying that this is 6 o'clock, we're going to start that pull roughly around 7 o'clock. So you got to remember, this pull is we're pulling back, pulling that kettlebell to come to go overhead, but also we're pulling our hand in, and then we're going to reinsert it around 11 o'clock. That's where that hand insertion will occur. So, and I'll talk about a little bit more of the hand insertion in a moment. That's the next step we're coming through. So remember that with our swings, we don't want to swing for the stars. We don't want to swing chest high. Now that's a fine swing if you're just doing it for conditioning and you're just doing a kettlebell swing. But in reference to the snatch, we want to make sure that swing is a lot lower, and we're swinging to about that 7 o'clock. We're rotating Watch how I'm shrugging at the trap. I'm rotating my torso. My foot is coming up as a product of that, as using so much force, and I'm breaking my hand from the kettlebell before that hand insertion. So this is the acceleration pull. So we've already done the backswing, then the acceleration pull will occur right here. Okay? So that's key. That's key. If we start the acceleration pull too high, what's going to happen is the trajectory of the kettlebell will lead our kettlebell to keep going past the lockout to this point, and this can cause a lot of problems, a lot of injuries, and so we want to stop that. We want to make sure that we're pulling at 7, inserting at 11, and riding it up to 12. Okay, so here is what that acceleration pull without the hand insertion is going to look like. So, okay, so pull back and rotate, and arm is pretty well straight at this stage again. Slight bend in the arm. Okay, so like I was talking about, the hand insertion, which will be the next part. So you'll see a lot of different hand insertions. And again, I want that hand insertion to happen roughly about 11 o'clock and let that kettlebell just float up to that lockout. Okay, so like I said just momentarily ago, you don't want that kettlebell to keep going, the force of that kettlebell to go back too far. So you want that kettlebell, that hand insertion to happen at 11. So now with the hand insertion, a lot of times you'll see people flip the kettlebell over, and that'll lead to the smacking on the wrist. So a couple things. A, you want to always have a very light grip on the kettlebell. We want to make sure the kettlebells are in our fingertips with our thumb wrapped around it. We don't want to be in the meat of the hand here, because that is going to be harder for you to get that hand in and out, and it's also going to cause the kettlebell to come over slowly and smack. Also, we don't want to flip that kettlebell over the top. We want to insert our hand from the side of the kettlebell. Not like this, so it's flipping over top. So I'll do an example. We don't want to flip it over top. We want to in from the side. And this is a good drill to do for that hand insertion. And I'll do it from the other side so you can see. The hand comes in from the side, so it'll be a nice and smooth, nice light grip, and it'll just kind of go right in and sit in that spot. So that's key. You know, a lot of people will stop kettlebell training, you know, especially the clean and the snatch, because of that constant smacking of the wrist. And it shouldn't be like that. It will be a little bit like that in the beginning when you're learning. So I suggest, you know, maybe you can get you know, a small set of tennis wrist wraps, or Kettle Guards makes a commercial kettlebell training wrist wrap. You can check into those too. They're all fine, you know, for the beginning when you're learning, so you don't get that smacking on the wrist. Or, you know, you'll still get that smacking, but it won't be so bad until you get the technique down, and then you can decide whether you want to wear a band on your wrist or not, and that's fine. Okay, so that's the hand insertion. Remember, we're inserting that kettlebell from the side at roughly around 11 o'clock, bringing it up to 12 o'clock into the lockout. And that will be the last part of this, is the lockout, and then we'll go into the next video number 2, the way down. Okay, so with the lockout, we want to make sure that the hand is all the way through the kettlebell. The fingers are separated, nice and relaxed in there. This should be a relaxed feeling of the hand in there. But the elbow is locked out. The bicep is close to the ear. This is the correct kettlebell snatch lockout. Okay? So from here, we're going to go to the drop of the kettlebell. So that's it for this video. The next video, I'm going to go through how to drop the kettlebell from the lockout back into the backswing and into another rep. Okay? I'll look forward to seeing you there.